I absolutely love Cuphead, and I used to play it a lot. It's one of the most unique games ever made, with its beautiful, colorful cartoon art style, and it's painstakingly animated by hand to look like an authentic 1930s cartoon. It's also remarkably difficult to play. All put together, this makes Cuphead a wholly unique gaming experience and extremely compelling. But don't let these aesthetics fool you. There's a lot of spiritually dark stuff in this game, and some creepy religious symbols. At its core, the plot of Cuphead is literally a deal with the devil. The name of the game is literally Cuphead, Don't Deal with the Devil, because the devil himself is the main antagonist. His influence runs throughout the whole game, and you may notice some other creepy spiritual or pagan symbols because of that. So why would I love this game? Well, today we're going to take a look at Cuphead from a Christian perspective. Behind all the flashy animation and insane boss fights, what does this game get right, what does it get wrong, and can we learn anything biblical from it? I think we can. The game starts with Elder Kettle warning the brothers Cuphead and Mugman to be careful and to stay out of trouble. Instead, they wander off carelessly, get cocky, and end up in a casino. At the craps table, Cuphead gets greedy and prideful and bets his soul to the devil. Of course he loses, and that's the inciting incident of the whole game. Disobedience to elder wisdom leads to prideful overconfidence, which leads to slavery under the devil himself. Right away, this is biblical storytelling. Proverbs 12:15. Fools think their own way is right, but the wise listen to others. Cuphead and Mugman ignored godly wisdom, just like Adam and Eve, and their arrogance leads to becoming effectively like slaves of the devil. Proverbs 16:18. Pride goes before destruction, and haughtiness before a fall. Regretting this gamble, Cuphead and Mugman beg for mercy, and the devil makes them a deal. If they can collect the soul contracts from his runaway debtors, he might spare them. This is a classic Faustian bargain and a really old story. Someone who plays around with magic, evil, or danger finds themselves in a bad predicament, and they become willing to make a deal with the devil for their life, their freedom, or their safety. Of course, you and I know that these deals are never legitimate. They are never without strings attached, and the devil can never be trusted. It's one of the oldest story tropes, and you can see it in Ghost Rider, Spawn, and much more. Usually these stories end badly, and the devil always wins. No one can escape unscathed, because no one can beat the devil by their own power. He can't outsmart Satan. But Cuphead flips this on its head, because through sheer striving, skill, and his own strength, he escapes his contract and he beats the devil. That's where I think the story gets shaky from a Christian perspective. It almost teaches that if you try hard enough, you can conquer evil on your own. Biblically, this is just not true. Ephesians 6:10, a final word. Be strong in the Lord, and in His mighty power. Our victory comes only through God's mighty power, not our own effort. This is a problem that the Doom games have as well, and I failed to mention that in my video on Doom 2016. No one can beat Satan on their own. It requires surrender to God and Christ's victory at the cross. That being said, Cuphead and Mugman do have to face serious consequences because of their deal. Like Ghost Rider, they are now tasked with collecting souls for the devil by collecting soul contracts from his debtors. They return home to tell Elder Kettle about their predicament, and he gives them special powers, but warns them that the debtors will not turn in their contracts willingly. They're going to put up a fight. And of course, Cuphead is known for being brutally difficult. It's notoriously challenging, and one of the hardest modern games out there. There are countless articles and YouTube videos out there talking about how this is one of the most difficult games. This actually makes sense in a Christian context. The Christian life isn't an easy road. Following Christ and resisting sin can feel like a relentless battle. Acts 14:22. They encouraged them to continue in the faith, reminding them that we must suffer many hardships to enter the kingdom of God. Cuphead's exhausting battles are a pretty accurate metaphor for the Christian life. It's long, it's tough, and sometimes it feels impossible. But perseverance matters. With every failed boss battle, you get more experienced and better at the game. We really shouldn't expect anything less because Cuphead is literally in a fight for his life against the devil without God's help. It should be the most difficult game. If difficult games like this aren't your cup of tea, see what I did there? Cup of tea? Okay, I'm sorry. But seriously, I know not everyone's into high-stress boss fights. Some of you prefer cozy, relaxing gaming experiences, and that's where One Big Side Quest comes in. It's a Nazirite Media affiliated channel run by my wife, where she plays wholesome, cozy games like The Sims, Tiny Bookshop, and more. Click the link in the description to subscribe. And if you like thoughtful reflections on life and pop culture, she also writes over at onebigsidequest.com. Definitely check it out by clicking the link in the description. The depiction of slavery to the devil is one of the best and most accurate parts of the Cuphead story for me. The devil basically owns all of these people because they owe him their souls. The world of Cuphead is filled with sin and vice. All across the game you can find smoking, drinking, and gambling. There's literally an alcohol boss called the Tipsy Troop, a giant cigar named Mr. Wheezy, and a couple of different gambling-related enemies. This just goes to show you how much influence the devil has over this world, and so it should come as no surprise that the people owe him their souls. He's got his grips on everyone through these temptations he's used to lure them in. John 8:34. Jesus replied, "I tell you the truth, everyone who sins is a slave of sin." This is exactly how Satan works in real life. These aren't random aesthetic choices for the game. They're classic vices that lure people into destruction. Sin often comes dressed up in flashy, entertaining packages, but it only enslaves and destroys. Just like the devil seems to rule and control Cuphead's world through these things, he rules and controls our world just the same. But it's not just through vice. Sometimes sin is disguised with seemingly harmless symbols. Different religions are practiced all around the globe, but this division and this confusion is caused by the devil. Our God is a God of the ultimate truth. Jesus says in John 14:6, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me." All throughout the Cuphead game, you can find weird, creepy spiritual symbols. There are astrological, pagan, and occult references throughout the game, and it's clearly intentional. It shows how the devil doesn't just use the obvious temptation of vice, but he also works through spiritual counterfeits and false religion. Some of these things may look playful or harmless from the outside if you don't know what you're looking at, but behind them is the devil himself. There's Jimmy the Great, who is a genie, which is inspired by Islamic and Arabic religious tradition. Grim Matchstick is a dragon, and I've made a couple videos about dragons already. Carla Maria is a mermaid, but she transforms into a Medusa-like creature at the end of the battle, echoing Greek mythology. The Phantom Express is a bunch of ghostly spirits. Hoppus Pocus is a rabbit who does magic. Hildeberg takes on astrological zodiac signs, and there's probably much more I'm missing, but all of these just go to show how much the devil has an influence over this world in the same way that he has an influence over ours. I already kind of spoiled the ending earlier when I talked about Cuphead being able to find his own redemption by defeating the devil himself. Cuphead and Mugman really screwed up at the beginning by not listening to Elder Kettle's wisdom, but when they encounter him again later in the story, he urges them to make the right choice when they find the devil. I really liked this part of the story. Cuphead and Mugman ignored Elder Wisdom and it got them into a serious pickle. They fell into the devil's trap and now they're doing his dirty work to save themselves. But Elder Kettle tells them that the right thing to do isn't to serve the devil or to actually deliver the contracts, but rather to destroy him altogether. In the end, they defeat the devil and they burn all the contracts, freeing everyone who was trapped. And by the end, we see that the villains weren't evil because they wanted to be, they were just enslaved by the devil's influence. When the contracts are destroyed, they're set free. Something about that makes Cuphead kind of messianic. He's liberating people from their bondage to the devil. 2 Corinthians 3:17. For the Lord is the Spirit, and wherever the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. One of the wildest parts of Cuphead is that the game literally gives you the choice to surrender to the devil or to resist and fight him. You can choose to sell out and become one of his henchmen. I think it's really powerful that the devs give you this option. It's like they're trusting that by now, you will have learned your lesson and will recognize the right path. Remember what Elder Kettle said and listen to him. You should resist evil even when it looks easier not to. It's a reminder that in life our choices matter, and we have the free will to choose for ourselves. Will we give our lives to sin and the devil, or will we resist and follow the way of Christ? James 4:7. So humble yourselves before God, resist the devil, he will flee from you. So is Cuphead a perfect Christian story? No. It suggests that humans can overcome Satan by their own power, which isn't true. But at the same time, it's filled with symbolism about sin, temptation, pride, and redemption. And in the end, the game's message is surprisingly biblical. Don't make deals with the devil. Defeat him. If you'd like us to be able to keep making these videos with higher quality and more frequent uploading, please consider supporting Nazirite Media on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. What do you think? Did I miss anything or did I nail it? Let me know in the comments. If you like this breakdown, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.